right, so we're going to go through and do some test questions. And I just want to show you what you're up against. You should be able to see my screen. So ISC Squared has graciously provided some test questions. And what I'm going to do here is, please, if you don't mind, what I'd like you to do is read the entire question out loud and then practice what we call a bottoms-up approach, which is from D to A, and then eliminate 2, and then this WASTL method. So the WASTL method, what answer sucks the least? Okay, because you're going to see that whenever we're answering these, you're going to go through, you being everybody, you're going to go through and you're going to be like, well, it could be this one, but it also could be this one. Well, that's when you take off your technical hat and you throw that over there. Just throw it over there. You put on your manager's hat and say, okay, as a manager, which of these answers would I answer from a managerial perspective?
The preliminary steps to to security planning include all the following except D, determine alternate courses of action. C, establish a security audit function. B, list planning assumptions. And A, establish objectives.
All right, so let's see here. How about, why did you go with C here?
Just guessing, but no. Because you want to know why you're doing it, what you're doing. So those to me are the objectives. And then you want to know kind of what you're working with. So those are your assumptions. And then determine alternate courses of actions. I mean, that's something that you'll want to do. So that's how I came to C.
Well, yeah, the people that put C in here. But yeah, the answer here is C. It says preliminary steps except. So this would typically happen after, but yeah, these guys would definitely be things that we would do as preliminary steps. All right, so let's go with next here. How about read the question out loud and then go from the bottom up, eliminate 2, and give me a WASTL.
Okay. The question is, which of the following is a key element during the initial security planning process? Is it A, establish system review timeframes, B, implement a security awareness program, C, defining reporting relationships, and D, institute a change management program?
All right, so let's go with, why did you answer Charlie, the correct answer here?
I just briefly read the question, so I didn't really have much time to think about it. But defining reporting relationships, I feel like that's a very early stage of it. Org chart obviously is an important thing to see who's related to who and who talks to who, and who works for who. So
yeah,
like you need to set up guidelines for specific people.
Yeah, and I think about we talked about this with the golden rules earlier, where you follow the money, right? And so the reporting relationships, that's exactly what we want, is we're going to follow the money. So Charlie is the best answer here. Good job. You know what? Let's go with, I've been waiting for you. Let's go ahead and get you to help me out with this one.
Which of the following is not an element of a security planning mission statement? Reading from bottom up, confidentiality statement. D, C, scope statement, B, background statement, and A, objective statement.
I accidentally pushed the forward button here, but okay. Why would it be D here? Confidentiality statement. So security planning and mission statement, when is this usually done? When do we typically come up with the mission statement?
I mean, that's part of the initial, it's everything. That's the goals of the company, of the organization.
Yeah, like the values and all of that. So, yeah, usually it's not part of the actual confidentiality, isn't part of the actual mission statement. So I almost feel like which of these 3 or which of these 4 don't fit. And out of these, I think, my opinion, typically we have a background, scope and then the objectives, and then, the confidentiality would not fit here. Take another one.
Which of the following is an objective of every loss prevention program? D, reduce losses to within 10% of a predefined level. C, reduce losses to a predefined level of tolerance. B, permit losses that aren't very important. And A, be 100% effective in preventing losses.
All right, yeah, so C is the answer. When I look at this right here, I think about, and for purposes of your test, I typically call these things absolutes. And so with absolutes, it's important that, if you look at some of these things like percentages or always or never, it's very likely that as a test taker, you can get rid of those as the answer. So the absolutes, quote unquote absolutes, are ones that are immediately, you can typically eliminate those. Not all the time, but most of the time you can eliminate them, okay? So the best answer here is Charlie. Although, hold on, let's see, Ken, although it's not likely, it seems like it should be a goal. Absolutely, it should be a goal, but I think about when I go and help out with the security control assessments, or SCAVI, or if I'm going out and doing NIST 800-171 assessments or CMMC assessments, if I'm an auditor or an assessor, I have to find something. I got to find something. Otherwise, I'm not doing my job. And that something is, how can we reduce any type of losses to that predefined level? Typically, we call that the residual risk, and that's done through, at least in the NIST 853, the POAM, Plan of Action and Milestone, which many of you probably are familiar with. So let's do a few more of these. Let's see. Let's get everybody to read this one by yourself, and then I'll give you about a minute, and then I'll ask you to put in what you think are the answers. Why did you answer D here?
I answered D because a lot of times when I take these tests, I try to try to use words that, will trigger if it's true or not. And so they kept using minimal. And I'm thinking nothing, is going to be that relaxed. So that's why I took out A and C. And then B, most tools have user interface. And with that little or no computer experience, I took that one out as well. So it just left me with D.
Yeah, and that's a great way to look at it. I think you can kind of look at some of the vagueness here with some of these answers, or the absolute. But for this one right here, the best answer, which one sucks the least, is the delta here. Great job. All right.
Can you explain the sucks the least? I'm still having a little difficulty on that one. For this particular example, what are we trying to gather with sucks the least?
Yeah, so the notion of that is maybe not applied for every test question and answer set, but for this particular one, basically which one is the answer, right? And of these, the best reason for using automated risk analysis methodology, I think about, being able to, if I'm using maybe a script that I created to check for STIGs, I can reuse that over and over and over again. For me, the 50-50 here would, as a software engineer, whoever are software engineers, yeah, this is what we think whenever we create, our programs or our software. We think that our stuff don't stink. And, so I would eliminate Bravo, definitely. I would eliminate Charlie just because that sounds, that's not good. And so between these two, 50-50, minimal training, I'm kind of, that's too vague for me. So delta is the best answer. So to me, that's which one is the best of which one's left. All right. Let's keep going here.
All right. When is it acceptable for the manager overseeing the execution of a risk analysis review to not take action on an identified risk? A, when responsibility for the conditions that cause the risk to arise is outside their department. B, when the cost of taking action outweighs the potential cost of the risk being realized. C, when risk reduction measures may affect the productivity of business. D, never action should always be taken to reduce or eliminate an identified risk. All right, so probably take out D for right now. It's an absolute.
All right, get rid of D.
Definitely not C. Productivity of a business does not matter if you're not secure.
All right. What if I told you so far so good?
I would be happy with that.
So
I think
far
that's
so good.
All right, you scared me a little bit there. When responsibility for the conditions that cause a risk to arise are outside their department, or the cost of taking action. Probably just using common sense, I would say B. Could be A, but I'll say B sucks the least.
Yeah. So Bravo, countermeasure controls are the same, or they should be at least with the cost and the impact of the risk. Why? Why is that important? Well, if we have an asset, let's say the assets, I'm just going to keep it simple here. Let's say the asset's $1,000, and I guess if we're looking at what I'm kind of thinking here is like cars, for instance. If you have somebody who has $1,000 car and it costs $250 a month to insure it, it's likely, what are they going to do in that particular scenario? They got $1,000 car and it's costing $250 a month to insure it. What are they going to do? Anyway?
I mean, if the car is literally $1,000, the insurance is not worth it.
Right. They're not going to insure it. And that's why we have so many people out there with no insurance, is because a lot of times it's not worth it for them, that they paid $1,000 barely even running. That thing ends up clunking and junking down the road after a month. They done already put, after 4 months, they'd be paying more for insurance than they have. Well, same thing at the economies of scale. If you think about it from, if an asset is worth $100,000 and you end up seeing that the insurance, or maybe you get a recommendation, somebody comes and does an assessment of your system, and in order to secure that system, it's going to be $110,000. Well, maybe it's time to go get a new system. You guys being experts in security and risk management, if we go and do an assessment on a system, or we're calling somebody's baby ugly, we go in and we do the assessment on the system, and it's $100,000 system, and we say, hey, to fix this system it's $70,000. It's likely that the leadership, the senior managers within that organization, are going to be telling us, go fish, right? They don't want to fix it if it's almost the same amount of money to fix it as it would be to go out and just buy a brand new system. I think that's typically the MO that we usually see. And there's a lot of businesses that do those assessments that will come back with those high ticket items that we see in reality as well. Let's see, I'm getting some, I haven't read these right here. So we're looking for absolutes, but not all or nothing absolutes. I don't understand. All would be absolute, yes. Nothing would be absolute, yes. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but within the percentages, we got rid of the percentages because they're not absolutes.
They are absolutes.
Okay, I misunderstood them.
So for me, it's like, and I know it sounds goofy when I say this, are you absolutely sure that it is that percentage? And if not, then you eliminate it. Like for me, if I don't know something like the back of my hand and I can't say that that is the answer, I eliminate it. And so that's typically what the spirit of that is for me, at least, is to anytime that doesn't pass the sniff test, eliminate it. Because there's going to be two answers that just stick out like a sore thumb, and then one that is a better answer than the others. Let's keep on going here. We'll do 3 more of these.
Which of the following techniques most clearly indicates whether specific risk reduction controls should be implemented? D is countermeasure cost benefit analysis. C is L calculation. B is risk evaluation. And A is threat and vulnerability analysis. So I'm thinking to take out maybe A.
You ready, eh?
Okay, and then the second one, maybe C.
You ready to see?
Yeah.
Huh? What if I told you so far, so good?
I'd be glad.
So far, so good.
I'm thinking B.
Go with B?
Yeah.
All right. What does everybody else think? It seems like everybody else, maybe I shouldn't have said so far, so good, because we could have gotten other answers as well. But has anybody ever done a cost benefit analysis before? Cost benefit analysis? And if so, delta here is what IC squared thinks is the best answer, because all of these other ones lead to D. It's every one of these other things. So you would do a annual loss expectancy calculation. You would definitely do a threat and vulnerability analysis. You would definitely do a risk evaluation in a cost benefit analysis for any type of controls that you're looking to apply. So delta was the correct answer. All right, let's go with, how about, you think you can hook us up with this one?
Sure. What is the most critical factor to the success of the enterprise security? Bottom up, D, complete security awareness plans, C, senior management support, B, budget available for security staff, A, effectiveness of security management. Okay, we can eliminate A and D. I will say C.
That wasn't very convincing. You said C?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'll choose C.
All right, let's see what everybody else thinks. The answer here is C, senior management support. We have to make sure that we get it from the top down. Without their support, it's likely it will fall to the wayside. So if you answer C, good job. Excellent. All right, how about, you think you can do this?
Sure. So what is the best address through the concept of need to know? D, conformance with privacy regulations. C, customers protecting their data. B, monitoring employees' activity. A, misuse of computer resources. Okay. I'm gonna eliminate B, and I'm going to eliminate C.
Okay. So far, so good.
And then I'm gonna go with the answer is D.
All right. So the answer is D. Great job. Why'd you go with D here?
It sucked the least. Yeah, I think for just misuse of computer resources, I don't think really fit with the concept of need to know. Monitoring employees' activity seemed irrelevant, and then
customers protecting their data was a little, I think, vague, and I wasn't really sure in the context of this question, so that's why I went with D.
Yeah, good job. All right. Let's go with one more here.
Okay, what is the key objective of a risk management program? A, calculate annualized loss expectancy. B, eliminate all risks. C, identify risks to information systems. Or D, ensure that all risks are addressed appropriately. So I'm going to eliminate B immediately. That seems rather absolute. I'll eliminate A. That's just part of the process. And I'll go with, that's I did my answer, right? Let's go with D.
You go with D? All right. Why do you go with D here?
Well, it's not an absolute, but it does seem every risk that we identify, we should be addressing to an appropriate level, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. So what's the answer? Drum roll, please. Let's check it out. Boom. Delta is the answer. Ensure that all risks are addressed appropriately. So to me, this is not an absolute, but this one is. And I know that may be hard for me to explain why, but it's just kind of like a caveat absolute right here. You know what I mean? Like, especially in the context of this. And so for me, it would come down to, I'd be able to eliminate, just like we did here, Micah did, I'd get down to 50-50 between these two. And so ISC squared down here, answer C pertains to risk assessment. Risk management goes beyond identifying and includes mitigating, accepting, and transferring the risk. And so we try to address all of those risks. I know with the RMF and the 800-171, that's done through a POAM. We have a SSP, and then all the CCIs and all the goodies with the controls, but then the POAM is all the residual risk afterwards. So great job there. If you answered D,